I recently was leading another group, and we had this topic of 4 counterintuitive truths about happiness that we discussed, and I thought I could also share here with all of you. It's a very relevant and interesting topic. So, just before we get into it, I thought we're still a small group of people here, so it would be nice to connect before we actually start sharing and discussing. So as Shri Prahlad Prabhu introduced, my name is Gaura Sharan. I've been a resident monk here for almost like 9 years here at the Bhakti Center, where I'm born and brought up in India, south of India, Chennai. I lived in Mumbai for quite some time in an eco village, and I've been here practicing and sharing whatever I could, and I'm very grateful. So if you would like to, like a short introduction of yourself, your name, where are you from, what do you do, that could be nice for us to connect. Yeah.
Hi everybody, I'm Diego. I born in Guatemala. I live in New York now. Very dynamic and diverse life that would take me a long time to really say, but I am here now and I found my way to Bhakti through yoga. I'm very grateful to be here.
Thank you.
I'm Sophie. I grew up in France, but I've been here for a while, and I also started coming here for yoga, and then started coming to kirtan and then the talks, and now I'm here all the time.
Thank you, Sophie. Nick.
I'm Nix. From Brooklyn originally. I live in Jersey now. I work in New York. I'm an artist, all that stuff. Been coming to Bhakti Center off and on for many years. But I've been usually attending kirtan nights, and more so now I'm going to explore more the offerings they have, classes, lectures, and so forth.
Nix was yesterday there for in another talk that I was giving. So today again, I was like, as I walked in, I was looking at Alan and Nix. Glad I'm not repeating the same topic. Thank you. Yes.
Hi guys, my name is Catherine. I grew up in LA. I've been in New York for 4 years. It's my first time here, so it's nice to be here.
Thank you, Catherine.
Hi, my name is Ali. I was originally from Ukraine. Been living in New York for 3 years. Started practicing yoga maybe a year ago. And I heard a lot about people who believe in Krishna and all of that. I've seen a lot of different countries. I traveled quite a lot. So, happy to learn something new for myself.
You sound quite a New Yorker by your accent.
Not really.
Thank you for coming. Yes.
Hare Krishna everybody. So my daughter studies at Parsons. She's doing interior design, and she called me over that, Mom, I'm missing India food. So I'm from India basically. So and she's a vegetarian, so there are very less options here for vegetarians. So I'm here to cook for her, but she told me that so I've been cooking for 2 more of her flatmates who are from South America. But in the evening she told me that, Mom, I'm busy from Monday to Friday and you keep yourself busy at Bhakti Center. So I'm here since 15 days and I've been attending all the programs from Tuesday up till Sunday. So she was telling me that tomorrow, do you have time for me? I said no. Seriously, I told her I'll quickly cook for you, I'll cover it, you eat when you get up, and I'm going to go attend the program on Sunday. So she was literally telling me today that, seriously, Mom, like, are you enjoying it? I said, I'm loving the peace and serenity which is here. And last Friday I attended a lecture on Bhagavad Gita, which was so amazing. Like, I know very
Thank you for a lively introduction. Thank you. Nityananda Prabhu, would you like to introduce yourself?
Nityananda Chandra. I'm part of the team that helps organize Shripla and Gaura Sharan, and I help also teach.
He's a wonderful
Chandra or Nityananda Chandra, whatever's easier for you.
He's a wonderful teacher and a father of 2 children. Amazing person, very enthusiastic.
3 kids. Not currently planning. Yeah.
Thank you.
Hello, my name is Prahlad. I'm from Australia. I have been in New York for about a year and a half, not as long as most of you who introduced yourselves. The Gaur Sharan so far is 9 years, and I've heard 10 years that you're officially in New York.
Yeah, I'm just there.
What else can I say about myself? I am an academic in my professional life. I teach in the university, I research, I publish, and then I also volunteer here at the Bhakti Center.
He's also a very, very famous international kirtan singer. Even before being a celebrity was a thing, he was a celebrity. So thank you for being here. Yeah. Lima? Lama. Sorry.
That was close.
Sorry.
I was born in Lebanon, and I grew up between Beirut and the U.S. So my whole childhood was back and forth between Beirut, Los Angeles, Washington, D.C. And I've been in New York for 10 years in October. I'm a lot older than I look. And I really want my mom to move here and for me too. When I first came to the Bhakti Center earlier this year for Kirtan, and I find myself coming more and more. Like I'm here most days of the week, so I love it.
Thank you. Thank you. Alan?
My name is Alan. I've been going to all the events here. Thursday night Kirtan, this one, the Bhakti Life.
On Fridays.
Tuesdays, I don't know. I started believing in God like 2 weeks ago. So that's why I've been coming back. Before that, I was like, what? This is gonna, yeah, I was like, whatever. Now, I like it. It's so cool.
Thank you.
I'm Jennifer. I found Bhakti Center. Well, no, I found it because I walked by it, but I would forget about it. And then I finally decided to come because I took a harmonia class, and the teacher invited us to an event here. And then since that time, I've been coming here. And yoga's been in my life since childhood in one way or another, Western style, but eventually it was the gateway to understand, this is actually from India. When I was in my teens, I figured that out. And then, I've been to India, and I moved to New York about 15 years ago, and I would come out in Union Square and see Hare Krishna, singing Hare Krishna in the corner, and my friends and I were like, oh, that's Krishna Corner. That's what we would call it, and it was so weird to me 15 years ago. But now I'm like, oh, Hare Krishna, because I went to India, it's normal to me now. So I decided to just come more to Kirtan and to soul talks and just get that philosophy. I did have back in the day a couple of yoga books thrown at me in the subway by the Hare Krishna, so maybe that was a sign. But it's great to be here, and I don't know why I was so scared 15 years ago. I liked the Christian corner. I just was like, I'm a Westerner. Weird. Now I'm like, oh yeah, no, Western stuff's weird. So, yeah.
Thank you, Jennifer. Okay.
Hi, my name's Lexi. I am from Washington State, so very far away from home. But I moved here 10 years ago, so now I'm a New Yorker. And in New York fashion, I work in television. That's what brought me out here, and then I also teach yoga. And I miss teacher training. I miss the philosophy. I miss being in spaces like this, and so I think that this is a great opportunity. But in New York fashion, I've had plans to come to to Kirtan here specifically, and then they never work out. So then I was like, fine, I'm going to soul talks by myself. Yeah. Thank you for
Thank you for being here.
Hey everyone, my name is Ren. I was born and raised in China and moved to New York when I was 17 for college, and I've been here for a little bit over 2 years now. And I first found Bhakti Center like during college time. Actually, my first time here was years ago. And I haven't been back for almost 2 years. This is my first time back like after a year, because I feel like as my work gets like more and more busy, I live in tech, and so I feel like I'm losing balance, and I feel like I don't feel like myself like recently, so that's why I wanted to come back here again. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you for being here. Thank you everyone for being here and sharing. You add value to this program, so thank you for being that. And I've had a couple of icebreakers. I don't know which one to choose and which one to leave. So there was one very silly one that the first person turns to the second person, smiles, and the second person smiles even bigger to the third person, and we go. You don't want me to be the first person? You guys want to try it? The second option is you answer this question.
Bees and chickens.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'd spend my money on bees and chickens.
Mhm.
Bees and chickens.
Can you smile one?
Even like if you're not everyone is going to share, like you can just think about it. What would you do? And maybe whoever is interested, we can share, and also why.
Just right on top of my head, I probably wouldn't spend it. I would just give it back.
Hmm.
Like, maybe spend on something that makes you happy. Like, I don't want to,
You feel satisfied. Anyone else?
After reading so many different studies on happiness, I think that spending it on others is really what evidence base would say makes me.
Okay, let's all get real. No, I'm just kidding.
We'll spend it on yoga classes here. So I'll be happy to use it too.
No, thank
But
you.
it's, yeah, spending on others.
Spending on others. Yeah, true. Yes, Lexi,
I would buy a town.
you would buy a town.
A whole town.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. On a nice piece of land.
Mm-hmm.
Next to a body of water.
Okay,
Yeah.
thank you. Anything to add, like why?
Just to be resourceful, I would also be able to invite and build my own community there
Mhm.
and have, have a town.
Leader.
Anybody else? Yeah.
On the right, on the check on the right, like $1 billion, and then withdraw that. My own big account. And I'll figure out later what I'm gonna spend it on.
Yes. Thank you, Alan. I was thinking, as very close to what Lexi said, maybe we'll set up an eco-village project kind of a thing, that where there is more living close to nature, and there is education, like how to live close to nature, and eco-friendly practices, and taking care of animals, like that. So I earlier lived in an eco-village, so that's why it feels very natural to me to think that way. Yeah. Anybody else? Okay. So this for sure all of us can answer. What made you happy as a kid? You want to take a minute, think about it. What made you happy as a kid? Mm-hmm. Spending time with siblings. Yes. Now, I wrote those questions, but I'm also thinking actively with all of you. Just remembering back my childhood, what made me really happy.
Playing with friends.
Mm-hmm. Playing with friends, yes.
Singing.
Singing, yeah, I can see that.
Playing pretend with my sister outside.
Playing with the sister, yes, outside.
Reading.
Reading, yes, that's nice.
Swimming in the river.
Swimming in the river.
Dogs and cats, animals in general.
Mhm.
Dogs, cats, animals. You know,
Yeah, playing
whatever
with
I
the.
can get my hands on.
Yeah.
Learning to cook with my mom.
Mm-hmm. Mom. Anyone else? What made you happy as a kid?
Being
Hmm?
good. Just being a kid.
Being a kid.
No bills.
No.
That's nice.
Someone to cook for you.
Summer vacation.
Summer vacations,
I didn't
yes.
want to be like a kid though.
Mhm.
I would not ever want to be a child again
Mhm.
because I felt controlled strangely.
Mhm.
But like I'm talking like there were things that made me happy for
Mm.
sure, but I don't see my child as happier,
Mm.
just older, and I would never want to go back.
True.
I'd say just even imagination. Just
Yeah.
all the fun you have in your own imagination.
I would just say like daydreaming.
Daydreaming.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, everything's possible.
Everything is possible, true.
Yeah.
The world hasn't dampened our enthusiasm, so anything is possible.
I was going to say Mom's cooking.
Mom's cooking. Yeah, for me also, like spending time with family, playing with siblings, summer vacation, spending time at my grandparents' place. So these are some of things like reading, swimming, singing. So expressing our skills and desires in connection with other people mostly, and just being in nature, having some kind of connection. So luckily, probably for most of the people here, we didn't have smartphones when we were children. So most of the, like whatever you said, it was all connection to something living. It was more personal connection, and that's what is also being reflected here. That happiness is what we feel when we are connected with ourselves, with others, and to something that matters. So that connection part is a very human need, and happiness is especially if the connection is healthy, then happiness is a natural byproduct of it. There is a satisfaction in the heart. So here we are trying to explore that, yes, when we say there are happiness, there are multiple levels. So some kind of happiness comes from just consuming as we grow. But there is another level of happiness that comes from connection. They both are two different levels of happiness. And especially that which comes from consumption is also dependent on a lot of conditions. Only if things are available, I like a cheesecake and I get it. And even when I get it, if it is not made properly, I'll be like, won't be like fully satisfied. So it's dependent on conditions. However, connection is rooted in who you are. And these kind of temporary happiness always needs more. It's never ending. Constantly you have to feed that consumption cycle. But connection comes from, connection brings contentment. It does not matter what exactly was externally received, but contentment can come from connection. Have you ever felt someone whom you loved gave a simple rose and you felt like so happy? So what was given, it does not matter. It's the affection and the connection that we felt. Usually the temporary happiness excites the senses. There is a sensory experience which could be grand, which could really feel like wow and exciting. However, there is another level of happiness that comes from nourishing the soul, feeling that connection with someone. I remember I probably shared it before. Like I was giving a talk at a different place, and they had a huge dinner, and it was late, and I had to come back. It was a little far from here, so I said, like, I really need to rush back. It's okay, I don't want the dinner, but they kept telling me, no, at least pack and take the dinner, like a to-go container. I said okay, but I said okay to a couple. So the husband separately packed for me, the wife also separately packed for me, and they both brought me together saying, oh, take this. And I was like, okay, can I just have one? No, so they said, no, it's a different thing. The lady said, no, this is a different thing. He doesn't know how to pack well, so you better take this also. I said, okay, I will take both the containers. And as I was walking to the train station, it was a cold night. It was a winter night. There were not many people, so I was just waiting for the train. And someone who was homeless also was like walking by, sitting there, and was like very like absorbed in themselves. Didn't look like much enlivened. It was also very cold actually. So suddenly my mind told, like, you have 2 boxes. Can you ask one of these boxes? Can this person have? And she said, in one of the boxes, she said, there is actually an Indian sweet which I really like. And I didn't know which one is which one. I didn't really want to open the whole thing and see and then accordingly give. But I thought it's okay. I've had it so many times. So let me just share whatever is coming. So I took the box on the top, and then I handed over, and I actually asked, because in New York City sometimes it's not very clear who you can offer, whether they want it or not. So I asked, like, would you like to have some food? And the person very happily said, yeah, please, I'll be happy to have. So, and then I gave them, and I just walked by so that they could eat. And after a while I saw the person waving a hand at me, because we were waiting for the train for 20 minutes literally. So the person just waved the hand and then said like this. Then I was very happy. Even if I would have had that sweet, I don't think I would have had the same kind of an experience. So just that the ability to actually connect with this person and serve in some way was a completely different kind of experience. So I'm sure we all have had that. And in the scriptures, there is this example of a musk deer, that they explain that how this particular deer is very special because it actually produces fragrance. However, the deer does not know the fragrance is actually coming from its own body, its own navel, that there is a gland that secretes that musk, which is a fragrant substance. The deer thinks the fragrance is coming from outside. So it just starts roaming the forest all over until it really becomes tired. And then it would lie down and realize the fragrance is even more stronger, because when it is lying down, it's actually closer to the navel, and it would think, oh, it's somewhere here. And again, it would get up and go around, never realizing actually the fragrance is coming from its own navel. So the Upanishads actually give this example. It's Indian literature, Vedic literature. The Upanishads say the living entity is also like this, looking for happiness everywhere externally, not realizing it is actually coming from inside. And connection with others, and both internal connection as well as connecting with others in a deeper way, that can actually produce happiness. However, we look external, not in terms of connection, but in terms of consumption. That's what actually leads to dissatisfaction. So in that note, the Bhagavad Gita states that the happiness is the natural state of the soul when it is a connection with the Supreme. So it's not something we create. It's not that something we produce through external connection. It is something which is already inside. We just uncover it through proper connection. Anyone wants to share anything? That's fine. Yeah. Consumption is whatever, like through by eating, by seeing, or by possessing something which is external, things and objects, that when I have them, then I feel certain kind of happiness, and that has some limitation. Connection is different from consuming things for happiness.
What is external like cars?
Anything, I would say. It could be very simple to like big things. Depends on the person also. For someone, like for a small child, having a toy car could be a big thing, and it can actually excite them. But for someone, even buying in the latest Tesla could fall short. And that's where it is said that happiness is not the result of perfect conditions. Sometimes you are happy even when the conditions outside are not like the most perfect, because it's a symptom of a connected soul. So where there is satisfaction, where there is spiritual connection, happiness naturally follows and flows. So that all these things I'm sharing to actually throw light that how much we think happiness is dependent on external things, how we have been programmed to think that happiness is all dependent on external circumstances, things and people. So that's what we're trying to throw light on. And in this connection, there are 4 counterintuitive truths about happiness. This is research backed and is shared by both the Harvard School as well as the Yale School of Happiness. So there are many, but the 4 main counterintuitive truths that are also is being shared in the sacred literatures is like, one is called as arrival fallacy, the other one is called as bronze medal effect, and the third is comfort makes us miserable and giving is greater than getting. So these are 4 counterintuitive truths that we are going to quickly discuss. So arrival fallacy is like, we expect happiness to arrive at the finish line. I will be happy when I ... When I get this new job, or when I get a perfect partner, when I go to the next vacation, when I have this particular meal. We always postpone happiness, assuming once I achieve something, I can be actually happy. So that happiness is always, we think it's will arrive at the finish line. But research shows that the joy fades very quickly. Once we possess it, the excitement of it is completely gone. How many of you have had this experience in shopping? We're so excited when we order and when we are waiting for the item to arrive, and then it arrives and that's it. It's just like the whole thing actually evaporates. Sometimes can be very happy. It could be very useful and makes us feel happy. Oh, at least I got a worthy product for the money. But many times it also happens like, this looked so different on a screen, and it's like in real life it's so different, and what we thought could be very useful turns out to be not so much necessary. So the joy actually fades very quickly. We adapt, and the goalposts move, and the chase continues. And this is because psychologists call it as a hedonic adaptation. That no matter what happens, be it a lottery win or a new job, people return to a baseline happiness within months. It comes down very quickly. All the excitement of especially vacation, people plan so much, and the happiness in the planning phase is much more than the actual experience, and when you return you feel even sometimes bad about the whole thing. So it could be that people can return to baseline happiness very quickly despite having amazing experiences and possessions. Yeah.
I remember we did a kirtan like 10 years ago at this huge mansion with elevators, a big movie theater, popcorn, it's a big mansion. And everyone's going around, this or that, blah blah blah. And then so the excitement was there, and then after about an hour, the excitement was gone. We were over it. But we didn't have to spend millions of dollars. We had the excitement and it went away. And I'm sure for the owner it was the same thing. Maybe it lasted more than an hour, but for us, we didn't have to spend many millions of dollars to get that hour, few days, maybe a month of excitement.
True. Yeah, Alan?
Would you be more happy if you planned for the vacation versus not planning for the vacation and just doing whatever?
Okay. So the vacation thing is a different principle. We think experience, like just having experience, amounts to happiness. But when you actually digest that experience and learn something from it, and is deeply contributing to your life, that becomes much more enriching. Just going and seeing things is not experience, because after a while it just like becomes, okay, I just saw this amazing thing, it is very nice, it touches, but it doesn't stay very long. It doesn't stay very long. So that is why it is very important. It's not just the sensory experience alone amounts to the actual heart experience. It's a connection, deeper meaning in that place, some purpose, some emotional investment and connection that can actually be much more enriching than just like a casual sightseeing.
So does that mean you plan on doing what you like? You have intentions, so that's planning, no?
Even then, it is considered that when you're planning in the head, it seems much more rich than when it actually what turns out in real life.
The anticipation of the event. In fact, Apple products.
Mm-hmm.
So Steve Jobs knew a lot of these things really well. So when you buy an Apple product, the box opens slowly on purpose. It's because he was aware that the anticipation of opening the box was getting you hyped up. So pay attention next time, or if you have an Apple product, it's designed specifically. And then, it's over, here's my phone. Yeah.
Yeah. So the principle, as she is saying, that what in the mind we assume lot more happiness in the planning phase. That's what I mentioned. That's what I was referring to.
What? I didn't understand.
Hmm?
I didn't understand.
Means in our minds we attach more value to the anticipated experience than what it could be truly. For a child, like getting a toy car, in its mind it's like a big deal. Once you give it, maybe like a few days of playing, and then it would be over with it. But in the mind, yes, Paul.
Yes, so part of the problem is hedonic adaptation. We quickly adapt to our environment, which is bad news for winning the lottery, but good news if something terrible happens, because you're going to
You
adapt
get-
to that as
yeah,
well, right?
yeah.
So kind of just return to where we were
Yeah.
before.
True. Both ways it's true for the hedonic adaptation. Yeah. And also, usually we think that we overestimate how much joy a goal will bring. So we project more than what it could be really. So that's what it's called as bad forecasters of happiness. In the mind we may think, oh, this is going to really make me happy. And once we arrive there, I'm like, oh, okay. And then we change our goalposts, we move. So we overestimate how much joy a goal will bring. And Jim Carrey did say that, I wish everyone could be rich and famous and have everything they ever dreamt of, so they can see that that's not the answer. Because someone who's as rich and famous as him understands that it's not the solution for what the heart is hankering. So this is for you to contemplate, introspect. Like, what's one milestone you thought would change everything in your life, and it did not? We all have had that experience. Like, if just this one change of place, or like change of job, or a new hobby, so many things. They do actually impact our lives, but it does not completely solve all our problems. So that is the arrival fallacy. And the next one is the bronze medal effect. It's like the Olympic bronze medalist are often happier than the silver medalists. Why? Because the silver medalists, they tend to compare themselves with the gold medalists. They think, I almost had gold and I just missed it. I could have been a gold medalist. However, the bronze is so relieved to be placed. At least I'm placed. So they're very happy, and they feel like, at least I placed. So they compare downward. So happiness is shaped more by perspective than achievement.
How do you know that?
Okay, that's a very good question, Alan. So in 1995, there's a full study that was published over years. They actually interviewed many silver medalists and bronze medalists immediately after they won, and interviewed them. How do they feel happy on a scale of 1 to 10? So bronze medalists usually tend to place themselves closer to 10, whereas silver medalists were completely heartbroken. They thought they really deserved it, and it was just a matter of a little thing that they missed it. So they were very unhappy. And even the pictures, in 2000s, there was a study. The pictures were actually studied when they're actually holding the medal. The silver one is usually not so happy by the expression of it.
This is the famous silver medal face. Famous silver medal face.
So this person.
Second place face.
So bronze medalists usually smile more genuinely than the silver medalists.
What about the gold medalists?
Obviously they're happy. But what happens is, like, they have the problem of the getting used to it. They have the hedonic adaptation actually. After a while they'll quickly be done. The pressures will be much more for the next time to perform and keep up to, and the anxiety actually takes over also quicker. For a bronze medalist, probably they think, means I've already achieved, there is no pressure that much. And in today's life, if you see on a day-to-day basis, social media actually intensifies this upward comparison a lot. We see a lot of people with curated highlights, and their lives are more, it looks more better on the screen. So we don't know just outside the screen how the frame is, but just whatever comes within the frame is clean and perfect. So we also think, okay, we tend to compare. And after browsing for a while, that's my first experience when I used Instagram. I used it for some time and then realized, no, this thing is making me compare myself with others. It's not that I completely don't use it, I do use it, but I do know that this can actually make me feel immediately less than who I am actually. It naturally has a tendency to compare ourselves, and everyone tends to put out the best of their version, even sometimes that may not be true. So then we tend to actually compare ourselves very unconsciously, and as everyone knows, comparison is a thief of joy. So we could be just happy with what we already have, but just by seeing someone else having a perfect life in the Instagram, then we think, why am I not vacationing like them, or their wedding looks better, their interiors are great, the gown looks amazing. So it could be just endless actually once we start comparing, and we will start losing sight of what we already have. That's a problem.
Why do we compare?
It's the human nature, I would say. We all want to have the best. But the idea is not to have the best, to actually experience what you already have, to be grateful for what you have, can have a better effect on your happiness level than just thinking, if I wish I had that. Instead of looking, what do I already have? How can I actually be of service through what I already have? And how can I actually connect with it more deeply? So amassing more is a natural tendency. But the counterintuitive truth is engaging deeper with what already you have and being grateful for it.
I feel like some people don't compare.
Don't compare? Good for them. But it's a general thing. It's a general, but most normal people would end up comparing themselves, I would say.
Well, why those people don't compare?
Each individual can have a different kind of consciousness. We're all growing and evolving in our journey, so each one can have a different mindset, and it makes so much difference in their life. That's why we are discussing this, so that by knowing these things, if we can actually tune our mindset, we could be happier. Yeah. And we can all think for ourselves, like, where do we compare ourselves the most? Yeah.
But what if, like, through comparison, you find, like, greater purpose or, like, your role models or, like, your inspirations? What about that?
Yeah. If it is inspiring you, that's fine.
That's like healthy, right?
That's a healthy version.
Yeah.
So where do you compare yourself the most? Like, is it in your work? Is it based on your looks or lifestyle or money? What is it that which is really a background music in the heart? Like, as soon as that thing comes in the picture, we immediately tend to compare and immediately become a different person. Sometimes I've seen that when a person who is if I'm aspiring for something and a person who has already achieved in the room, sometimes I could be happy and take inspiration from them. Sometimes I could feel envious why this person has it and why am I not having it. So it's different with different people. So however, we all have some default mode. Some people are very competitive in work, and in life they could be like casual, but some people are very competitive in personal life, could be very relaxed in other areas. So you can think for yourself. Where do you compare yourself the most, and how does it affect your mood? And the third counterintuitive truth about happiness is, we think we work hard to become more comfortable, but too much comfort for a long time makes one actually not so happy. Because the more comfort we have, the faster we adapt, and the less joy it brings. Like, I heard from one of my spiritual teachers that he was visiting a very rich billionaire's home, and this billionaire was like showing around the house, and he took him to the basement, and the basement was huge and furnished, and whatever kind of toys and games and board games, whatever you could think of that a child would probably love or need, everything was there. All kinds of games, all kinds of stuff, stuffed animals and this and that, everything that one can imagine, everything was stocked and very nicely kept. And the kid was actually still asking for something more. Wasn't even there in that space, was like asking for something more, and was very cranky. And he just later visited another person's home who was not very rich, and there he saw the child was like playing with some potatoes, and some nuts and stuff. So what he saw was, it's not like how much the child had, but the more the child was happy with what it had, it was just absorbed in it and playing with it. So it's not that you need a very elaborate arrangement in order to be happy. If you could be actually satisfied and connected with what you already have, probably there will be better satisfaction. And the lasting satisfaction comes not from ease and indulgence, which is what we have been always propaganda is always telling us. So you need to find ease and you need to indulge, and that's how you become happy. But from challenge, resilience and growth, you could also find satisfaction through that. It's not that you should not have any ease or any comfort, but just focusing that happiness in life comes from more ease and indulgence is a fallacy, is not true. And we do see that comfort-seeking lifestyles are highly linked to anxiety and depression. And a lifestyle in which growth and resilience are included makes one much more happier. We do see that in daily life in terms of lifestyle. Cold showers or intermittent fasting or exercise, these things can be a little discomfort. However, it makes a person actually more healthier, sharper. those small discomforts actually can build strength. Our bodies are not just meant to for all the time being pampered. And this is by Viktor Frankl, that happiness cannot be pursued, it must ensue. It's a byproduct. The advertisement industry has been lying to us, selling happiness as a main product. You buy this toothpaste, you'll be happy. You buy this deodorant, you'll be happy. You get this underwear, you'll be happy. They're just like constantly selling happiness as a main product. However, it's actually a byproduct. It's never a commodity directly. It is a byproduct. It's an experience that comes as it ensues. It's a byproduct of connection and service and contentment. So happiness is a byproduct. Cannot be pursued. It must ensue of personal dedication to a greater cause than oneself. So there's another question for you to introspect, like what's one area of your life where a little discipline could bring you more joy? And the last counterintuitive truth is that giving is greater than getting. So while self-care, which I'm not against, very much it is necessary, it has its place. However, too much emphasis on self-care may be trending, but research shows that those who focus on kindness and service and generosity are consistently happier than those who exclusively just focus on themselves. If even self-care comes from a place of selfishness, it won't lead to lasting happiness and contentment. Because you have a greater purpose in life, so you need to take care of yourself better so that you could be of service. That kind of a self-care can actually bring more happiness. Self-care for the sake of just me cannot be that much rewarding. If you have a bigger purpose for which you need to actually take care of yourself, then it is much more worth.
Someone said to me once, there's nothing like getting an opportunity to give.
Mm-hmm. Thank you. So happiness does grow when shared, and the 2008 Harvard study shows that people who spent money on others were happier than those who spent on themselves consistently. If they thought this money is just for me, I worked hard, so I just enjoy. No one else deserves anything from this. So that kind of an attitude is being spoken about here, that when they consistently spend more money or all money just on themselves, because this is my money, I don't need to serve others. Yeah.
This reminds me of, okay, what if it's like in the relationship and one person constantly spends money on the other person, and people often say it as like a toxic, like imbalance relationship. Like how would you respond to that, like compared to this?
In a relationship, those two individuals need to actually have that understanding. What is their relationship dynamics? Is it like one person is earning and the other person is majorly serving and taking care? In that sense, the person who's earning could be the financial contributor. The other person could be contributing in different ways, because sharing is not just the money. Contribution is not just the money in a relationship. There is much more ways that people actually contribute in a relationship. So we need to see the actual dynamics of that relationship and see where is the imbalance, especially what is the attitude. If it's attitude, I have this money and I don't want to spend on you, it's for me, that could be like not very healthy. So longest running happiness study, which is from the Harvard, 80 plus years they've been studying, and the one simple statement about happiness that they say is, key to happiness is meaningful relationships and giving to others. This is the crux of their study, that key to happiness is meaningful relationships, that is connection, and giving to others.
Can I ask you a question?
Yes.
So you're talking about giving and getting, right? Like it's greater to give than to get. Also, previous slides you mentioned that we shouldn't look for materialistic things, right? Like you said, you start bringing up like childhood that most of the people said, I hang out with friends, I was happy. I met my like parents, somebody cooked for me, I was happy. Nobody kind of mentioned toys, right? Like stuff like that.
Yeah, meaningful relationships.
Yeah, and then you show the slide with Harvard that people feel happier when they give money than receive and just keep for themselves. So why, when we talk about giving, most of the time, most of your slides showing that you need to give materialistic stuff, when you're telling us that actually it's not about the materialistic stuff, it's about relationship. Why don't they kind of provide information that giving maybe more your personal time or something like that? Why all the slides, give money, give food, give this, give that. If you want to give happiness to someone according to the slides we saw, shouldn't you give like something else, your relationship, but not materialistic stuff? You know what I'm trying to say?
Yeah,
like,
yeah, I understand.
So it's like when give materialistic, when receive like okay materialistic, but you're talking about happiness, not about materialistic. So why give materialistic if you want to make someone happy?
Yeah. If you want to please someone, what would you do?
Depends on the person, I guess. Like needs and stuff like that.
Yeah, means so what means happiness again is a byproduct of my action. It does not matter what I gave, how much I gave. Because how can I give you happiness in terms of like I can sometimes spend time with you, I can actually give things to you if that is what is your need, or I can actually make some like there are something that interaction may be on an external level, but the intention of trying to serve, that giving can actually bring me happiness. Because what do I give you? How do I, if I want to serve you? There needs some kind of an external thing most of the times, but sometimes it's just giving time, being together, those kind of things also work. But usually in this world, there needs an external medium to show love.
So by giving, sorry, it will maybe take 1 minute. So
no,
by
no
giving,
problem.
You mean you want to make the other person happier, correct?
Yes.
So if you know that the happiness is not about materialistic stuff, why want to give materialistic stuff to him?
That's again my question. If you really want to please someone, want to express love to your partner, how would you express it?
No, I would express the way I see it. That the slides is, again, I'm not against anything, right? Like I'm just thinking what I saw just now. I think like if you want to find happiness, it's like maybe for everyone. It's always like balance in the middle. It never can be where we live right now. It cannot be always about finding inner peace and that's it, or like connect to God and that's it, and you'll be happy. You always need to be somewhere in the middle, like in a nice house, nice roof. Your parents fed your kids, everyone cleaning very nice clothes. At any given moment you can help someone, materialistic stuff. Also, I agree, connect to God. So why there is no information about actually you must make money, actually you must take care of your body, you must have nice things, and it's okay. Also, don't forget. I'm saying like to myself, like don't forget about like connecting to God, helping other people by time, materialistic stuff, money, whatever. So and you'll be happy.
Now, if you observed me, I've been politically correct whenever I was speaking. Like even when I spoke about self-care, the first disclaimer I gave was, yes, self-care is important. Even when I spoke about having things, I said, yeah, you need some level of comfort. So means I've been like giving that disclaimer. It's not that we are saying absolutely it's not required, but anyway in the world everybody is focused on those things. So I'm not an expert in teaching those things, but my expertise is in spiritual life. But I'm surely not negating the basic needs of people. That is never the thing. But those basic needs, we are all trained for it and we are all wired for it to a large extent. And surely the presentation was not like completely avoid or neglect those aspects of life. However, that balance, how are we going to bring that balance?
You asking?
No, that is the whole purpose of the presentation is like, okay, we are thinking, we are on one side that thinking, okay, getting on alone will give me happiness. But we are trying to balance that perspective. Okay, giving also can bring you happiness.
100%.
Yeah. But what will you give? You're asking. Why should I give material thing in terms of if happiness is not material? Is that your question?
Exactly.
So, again, my question is, if say you are in a relationship, how would you express your love?
I think by, if in general, right, like spend time, basically create a nice quality time for that person, and if you want to build life with that person, obviously, show that you're capable of, and your life is kind of nice now, will be even better later, or if it's bad now, I'm working towards to make it better later. But my just like small concern is that when I feel lost, for example, and I'm trying to connect to God, whatever, or find which God to connect to, I think people like swing so much on that like connection with God, and they forget about everything else. So, and then you start connecting, and it's a rabbit hole. It's so hard to connect. Just like super spiritual people, just like 1 in a million, maybe even less.
Yeah, means usually spiritual life needs guidance. So matured spiritual guides would never tell you to go to either of the extremes, because your immediate life is very important. On that foundation you build other things. So surely, I'm not sure what was your experience before, but at least the mood is not here that you have to neglect all your material life. You have to have something basically taken care of about your life, basic needs, and on top of that, then naturally you will also want to focus on the spiritual need. That is also one of the needs. So usually the world is focusing on everything else and neglecting it. So the presentation may seem like it's focusing on, but it's never the idea that we neglect other needs, for sure. Yeah.
I have so many questions about it.
Yeah, we can cover more, because
take hours.
I also understand that when people usually have questions, it is not just from the presentation, it's from your life experience, and there is a lot. It's only the tip of the iceberg what you are expressing is. So there can be much more deeper. So spending more personal time could be much better. Thank you. Yes.
So there is a long time kind of misconception of what material means, and what is something that's materialistic. Even in Bhagavad Gita, it's 5,000 years old. We have Arjuna, and he's hearing, and he's like confused. What you're telling me to kind of be engaged in this world, but then you're also talking about spirituality, and I'm not getting it. And one of the words that they use for kind of materialism is duality. You see this world as separate from God's energy. And it's just like if I find a wallet on the ground, I can exploit it and take the cards and steal their ID, or I can neglect it and just walk away. But yoga means to connect it. I can take whatever is there and give it back to the yoga. So I can give presents to my family in connection to my connection to divinity. I can cook delicious food and offer it to God and enjoy that food, and it's not material. So it's a misconception of what material means.
Yeah.
Material is not the matter; it's the mentality that we address in that.
Yeah, perfectly. Thank you. Yeah, Alan.
Is it possible to make someone happy? Like, it's not possible, right? They have to be happy, right? No one can make you happy, right?
That's a very deeper truth. We can actually try, but it also depends on the individual. It depends on the other individual you're trying to serve and please. Yeah.
I have 2 points too that I believe relate to this. Happiness is a state of doing, not a state of being, right? And so you can't make someone happy, but you can't always make yourself happy all the like it's variable, right? So that's why, from my understanding, is in doing things, you are cultivating happiness. And I think the other things I'm experiencing, like, wow, I just got this, like, I bought an entire building, that's not necessarily what happiness is. It's something else. I'm trying to figure it out for myself.
Yeah, the same thing here. Viktor Frankl's quote can again connect with you. So it cannot be pursued. It must ends you. By byproduct of personal dedication. Say I got a big building. If my purpose of getting that building is that I can have spiritual knowledge they're shared there and people could come and benefit and they could practice spiritual life. If I had a higher purpose for that place, so then the value of that will stay for a longer time of having that, because I have a purpose. I'll take care of the property. The property is not the end product of my happiness. It is a means to serve. So then having that property could be much more meaningful than if just having a property was the end product.
And like the pursuit, you said about it can't be pursued, and I don't know if I read it in his book or somewhere else, but it's just happiness has been described to me as a butterfly. The more you chase it, the more it flies away. And as an American, it's such a conflict because in the Constitution it says I have the right to pursue happiness, right? So it's like, oh, like I'm being trained that it's something that I should or could pursue, but I don't, so it's like.
Yeah, that's why it is four fallacies.
It's like, but I like having the right to pursue it, but it's like, oh wait, am I supposed to pursue it?
Yeah, we have been trained in a different way. That's what we are trying to see, that these are actually counterintuitive truths. These are actually people, we have been trained in a certain way, but reality seems to be different. And that's what research is showing, and the scriptures have been saying that for a very long time. Yeah?
If I may, you can only pursue that which you're running away from. That being said, happiness, from how I've understood it through this quantum mechanic twist on it, happiness perceived in the future is an illusion. Happiness perceived in the past is a figment of your imagination. And none of that exists beyond the here and now. We can only experience true happiness in the moment that we are in. Whenever we project our happiness in the moment that isn't in the moment that we are in, it takes us away from that true essence of that connectedness of pursuing happiness. We'll always be chasing something that's not there.
So it's another quote that we make a living by what we get, but we make a life by what we give. So it's again, should be taken with a mature perspective. But how could your day could change if you woke up asking, like, who can I help today? If I had this mindset, it could be much helpful. We haven't even come half of the way with the slides. So I'm going to complete it because the food is here. So just give me 5 minutes, I'll finish this and we can connect more over food. And based on all of these four counterintuitive truths, what we're trying to understand is that happiness is not created by external things alone. It's a sign of inner alignment. I could be happy with a rose, but I may not be even happy with the whole property that someone buys for me. It's not the external thing itself. It's a sign of inner alignment and my attitude. Most of the times, we all want happiness, but we don't pause to ask, what is it actually? And who exactly is trying to be happy? Like me, there are multiple identities here. There is the body, there is the mind, there is the soul. Who in this is trying to become happy? And why does it slip away so easily? Even when life looks very good, still it seems like it's slipping away so easily. So all these truths needs to be understood in order to actually pursue happiness. And I was thinking of sharing a story, how this small little boy went to a king asking for charity. And the king said, ask whatever you want. And Vamana, they've said, I want 3 steps of land by the measurement of my own leg, my own foot. And he was already a dwarf. And the king said, are you mad? Because you're already a dwarf, your feet are so small. Why would you ask for 3 feet of your own, at least ask my 3 feet. You will get more land. And that's when Vamana says this to the king. He says, "Oh, my dear king, even the entirety of whatever there may be within the 3 worlds to satisfy one's senses cannot satisfy a person whose senses are not controlled." So basically, if you don't have satisfaction, even if the whole world is given to you, you may not become happy. So, like, I think it's Gandhi who said, there is enough in this world for everyone's need, but not even for one person's greed. So, without satisfaction, it is impossible to find happiness. And I'm literally completing it in 2 slides. That basically understanding that we are not this body, we are a spirit soul. And from that place, that it is the soul that is seeking happiness. It's not the senses that is demanding happiness. It's the soul that is seeking from inside. That the soul is actually seeking for a deeper fulfillment, and that begins when we align with our eternal nature, which is actually love and service. And you're a spirit soul who's already complete in yourself in one sense. And devotion can actually uncover the happiness that we are seeking. And we as a spirit soul, a happiness can be awakened in connection, not in isolation. That connection, especially with the Supreme, through a spiritual practice, could be very powerful. And as we are all exploring, there are many aspects of happiness, but we are speaking about the deep spiritual happiness, how to awaken it. And that is possible when we connect with the divine. And that is usually, like, I was supposed to spend the most time in the later part of the thing. Unfortunately, to end here, we spent an hour. So usually we prefer, or like we prescribe, that how through sound we can actually connect with the divine. And focusing the mind on a mantra can purify the mind and reveal our true nature. And love and service can be very natural from that state. And happiness could be experienced. And this mantra is like a sound capsule. We all take pills. So the mantra is like a medicinal pill that you give to the mind through a sound form. And it cures the mind. And then the heart becomes more transparent. And we are able to live from a place of love and service. Basically, you start living from a heart space than from the mind space. So all these needs and the chatter is happening on the mind space. But if you want to come to the heart space, that's where the happiness is existing. That's where the connection is there. That's where deeper fulfillment is there. And that's possible when we engage in a spiritual practice and quiet down that mental space and come to the heart space. And wish we had more time. We could discuss further. Thank you. I don't want to be that person who stands between you and your dinner.
Thank you very much.